So I just want to talk to you about the state of Shias and the state of and the Sunnis as well in the UK. You're probably more aware than me, but we have a huge number of young people who are thirsty for the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And even among Sunnis, there are a lot of people who don't have the ta'assub that the Sunnis might have back home in Middle East. And if there was just someone to be able to tell them the truth and explain to them in the nice way and in a way that Ahlul Bayt would be happy with it, a lot can be done in the West. But unfortunately, it is not happening. It is really shocking. I'll tell you an example. So in the past year, since you've opened the bahs of taqleed and how we should follow the ahadith of Imam alayhi salam, I've gone through this journey of reading the ahadith for myself and try to tell my family to read it as well. I'm blessed and honored to be able to understand a bit of Arabic. I can speak Farsi, it's my native language. I'm from Afghanistan, and I speak Urdu as well, so I can follow your channels throughout. But for those people who don't know these languages, it is so hard for them to find the truth. For example, Ma la Yahsar al-Faqih is one of the major Shia books. There is no English translation for that. If there is, it is buried somewhere deep in the internet, and it's so bad that the Shia community, the scholars, the governments, whoever they are, they spend so much money on things that are so not necessary, but then they've left the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt untouched. And people should cry about this. People should genuinely cry about this. And I'll tell the audience here who don't know you necessarily, because obviously you haven't been that much active on English, because you've been active on Farsi and Arabic and Urdu for such a long amount of time, that everything I know, and everything that my family know about Islam, 99.9% of it comes from you, just by listening to lectures.
Thank you.
And sometimes I do that. Because we live in the West, we don't really have Shia friends, or we do, but you don't really find those people who when you look at their face, you see nur in them, and you want to be close friends because it's recommended you speak to ulama. But then the answer comes to me that I know we're not face to face, we don't live in the same city as you, we're not family members or relatives, but we do listen to your lectures. So that is something that in this day and age does make us happy. So for people who listen to this, please, if you do understand Farsi or Arabic or Urdu, please watch his lectures in those languages, and please support this channel so that you can have some more free time. I know you probably do a lot of the work off the scene just to make this channel operate, because you probably don't have the stuff necessary to do all of these things. So please support the channel so that Sheikh can have more free time to do English lectures, because I know family members who don't really understand Farsi as much. They understand Farsi a little bit, so they wait for your videos to come out and they wait for the captions to appear. So they're just waiting for this random person on the internet to put captions on your videos so they can understand it. They wait days for it. And why should it be the case? And it is just shocking that there aren't many people like you, Sheikh, that will tell the truth the way it is and the plainly as it is. They mix the truth with, they say two truths and one falseness, and it's better not to listen to them. So I could go on and on about this, and I don't want to bore you and other people, but I did have a couple of questions, if it's okay.
Yes, sir.
So the first question is about us Shias have been recommended. We've been told not to mention the name of the 12th Imam, his real name, out loud. And from what I've heard from you and I've read in a book, is that God lanat me on that person who says it like that way. Yeah. But my question is that when we read Dua Tawassul, when we get to the 11th Imam, it does. How do we say his kunya there?
Oh yeah, the kunya is no problem. If the kunya of Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam is Abu Muhammad, that's not a problem to say that. So the name of the 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, you should not mention it in public while attributing this name to him. So the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Imam Bakr alayhi salam, his name is the same. So there's no prohibition in mentioning the kunya of the 11th Imam alayhi salam, because that's his kunya. What's prohibited is the name of the 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam in public. In private, there's no problem if you're doing dua or doing ziyarah on your own or reading a book. But in public, and we do not know the reason for that. And there are many rulings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that their wisdom has not been explained to us. So don't mention it. and just say it's the name of the same as the name of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But as far as the kunya of his father goes, that there's no prohibition with mentioning that publicly or privately.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, when I was reading Dawat Rasul, it did make me feel uncomfortable, and I made me question, should I be saying this or not? And I even checked, trying to find it in hadith to see if it is exactly the right thing. The second question I have is about the, so there are mention of certain Sahabas during the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we read a hadith about that ارتد الناس جميعا, like everyone became murtad apart from 4 Sahaba, which is Ammar, Miqdad, Salman, and Abu Zar. But what about people like Prophet's uncle, Hazrat Abbas ibn Abu Muttalib, and people like Bilal? What happened to them, and how can we look at them?
So in the beginning, people turned away from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, except those 4 people. They came back, but as far as the practical support goes, the practical support that these people, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, came to the people of Medina, and we went house to house. And he mentioned to them that I'm your imam and you have to support me. And when he went house to house, a lot of people, they said, we'll support you. And you go ahead and make an uprising, and we will defend you, and we will be your soldiers, and we will take up arms in your defense and in your cause against Abu Bakr and Umar. So Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said that, okay, tomorrow you have to come, shave your heads and come. He told them a locality, a neighborhood, come there with your swords. And when he came there were only 3 or 4 people. So these were the people who turned their, irtidat means what? To turn their back against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They turned their backs against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They were, all of them, it means they did not support him practically, although they knew he was, although they loved him. But for various reasons, they did not come to on that occasion when they had promised to come and make an uprising. When Amir al-Mu'mineen saw that these are only 3-4 people, he told them to go back to their homes, and it was not time to make an uprising. However, these people, many of them, they turned around and they came to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam, and they were his supporters, and supported him ardently afterwards. But at that particular time, there were only 3 or 4 people who stayed with Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, it did come across. I mean, I could talk a lot more, and I could ask you more questions, but I won't take much of your time. I just want to say one thing that, I'm going through a particularly difficult time in my life, so I would ask you to please do a dua for me, and for people who are watching this as well. Please do dua for me as well. And I understand that, Sheikh, that because of the path you've taken in your life and the good things you're doing, you're probably unable to visit the ziyarats. And sometimes when I think about it, so whenever I go there, inshallah, next time, I will do ziyarat on your behalf and do on my family as well.
May Allah bless you. Thank you so much.
Keep going, and may Ya Ali Madad.
Inshallah. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad. Thank you. May Allah bless you. I dua for you, inshallah. May Allah, for the sake of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, bless Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, and grant you your wish, and solve your problem and whatever issue you're facing, inshallah. And all the mu'mineen, they're facing problems. May Allah bless them and Allah solve their problems. So the brother was saying about importance of producing more programs in English. And he was right. I don't have a lot of community support. If I had more community support, I would produce more English lectures. Because a lot of things could be, whatever. A lot of things could happen only if you have a lot of support. Okay? And my people, the people I defend, the people I want to wake up, people I want to serve, they are sleeping people. They are in a state of stupor. They are in a state of sleep. Especially in the US. Especially in the US. They are strange. Majority of Shias don't follow religion at all. They're not practicing Muslims, right? The very few who are practicing, they are not with me because they think that Sistani is a better person, or Khamenei is a wali of God. He's the vicegerent of God on earth. And that is a problem. And there are a lot of ulama who engage in that talk against me, and that's why. A lot of Muslims in the West don't Well, it's also my fault because one feeds the other, right? If I'm not active in English, they don't know about me. And they only hear about me from other scholars who are not very fond of me. So, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, I'll try to present to you more lectures in English. And I'm really sad, really sad for the English speakers. And I'm very, very mad at Shia scholars that they have totally failed their community and their religion. And they've totally betrayed the trust of Islam in them and trust of Shias in them. And it's a very, very sad day